Right. Oh boy, we're back. Half my lights are broken. I don't know what happened. It stopped working. No. I have to replace that. Stuff's always breaking. Let's get loaded up here. All right. What do we want to listen to tonight? What are we want to listen to tonight? What do we want to listen to? No, definitely not. Um. No. Um. What do we want to listen to? Let me think. Let me go to like my history. So we were listening to. Come on, choose something. All right, I'm fine with this. If you guys are. No. I'm gonna get copyright on that, I bet you. Dang it, you gotta, let me see, where's our guy at? Um, let's just do this. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome in today. Hope you're having a good day today. My name is Michael. We're gonna be doing some programming. Once again, I appreciate you being here. We're going to be jumping back into C Programming, a Modern Approach, Chapter 3. We're going to be doing the exercises and programming projects for Chapter 3. So I appreciate you guys being here and joining me as we work through C Programming, a Modern Approach, Chapter 3 exercises and programming projects. Hopefully it doesn't take us too long. I've got the files already set up here, so I don't have to worry about doing that live. But let's go ahead and just get started. Okay, so let's actually clear out some of this stuff here. Cool. Okay, so we are in Chapter 3, Exercise 1. Let's go ahead and get into this. What's going on? Hey, Sylvia, what's going on? USAF, how's it going? New language? Yeah, we're in jumping back into C here. Keep going on C and diving deeper into C and learning more. Get to the point where hopefully we can start building some projects with a few more utilities along the way soon, after a couple more chapters, hopefully. Okay, exercises. Number 1, Section 3.1 exercise. Okay. So what output do the following calls of printf produce? Okay, so let's go ahead and include. Oh, we need to make it a directive, right? let's do the standard io.h. Let's go ahead and make an int main void function here. Let's open this up. We're going to have a call here of printf, and we're going to print %6d %4d. So we're going to round. We're going to have a 6-digit field and a 4-digit field. Or no, these ones actually. Let's see with the look at the notes here. I want to recheck here. So %5d, yeah, it just makes a field of 5 right bound because it's positive. So these are going to be right bound, 5 length of 6 field and length of 4 field of character space for these digit insertions, right? And then we're also going to print out a 86 and a 1040. So we're going to have to obviously create some I guess like ints that would go in here. We don't have any inserts, right? So like int num1, num2, I'll say num1 is equal to, I will say like 10, and then we'll say int num2 is equal to, let's say 20, and then let's go down here and we'll print this here. So let's kind of predict the output here. The output is going to give us a 6-digit field, 1, 2, 3, 4, but with a right bound characters of 10, right? Then it's going to give you a comma and this digit, right? Our num2, which will be 20 with the field of 4. So 1, 2, 20, right bound. It would then give us we would do what? 86 and 1040. Does it do it? Does print because? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so dumb. These numbers are what are going into here. That's what's happening because I forgot that the string ends right here, right? So we're actually inserting these numbers already. We don't need variables. So I have that typo on my end here. There we go. And then we'll get rid of here. So we're inserting these guys already. So let's predict what's going to output here is going to be a string with 6 fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 of these are going to be the digit, and they're going to be right bound. So there. And then we're also going to print a comma and then 4 digits with, and then it'll fill the whole space with these guys, right? Let's go ahead and see what happens here. Or let's go ahead and we'll move on to the other A, B, and C, and then we will do it all at once. Okay, so B, we're going to call printf to this time around %12.5 for the precision E, and we're going to put in 30.253, right? Just like so. So let's say our output prediction is, okay, so this is going to be a 12 field value with 5 values of precision to the actual number itself in exponential form. So I gotta go back here. So let's get some, okay, so 10.3 Okay, yeah, got you. So 10.3e right here prints out and does this e plus the 0, 2 for x, which is this guy here, which is this float value. We're putting in something similar. Round to the over. Okay, so it would be 3 point. We keep it at 5, right? 0, 2, 5, 3 e plus does it go by single digit or double digits? Okay, double digits. So 0, 1. We rotate over one value. And then we need, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 character spaces. So we need 2 character spaces more in our field that is right bound. Are you looking to become a software engineer in the future or for fun? Paramio said, hey, thanks for joining me. I guess a little of both. I'm currently a biochemist. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company right now. I like it. It's fun. But I do like software and computers, and I want to learn more about them and wanted to write scripts and write software to incorporate into my work. And I've been doing that so far, and it's been fun. And I'd like to go further if possible and write even more complex software and write, I don't know. I really enjoy it. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so this is my prediction. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 character spaces with 5 characters of precision and exponential form here. So that's my prediction for B. Let me know if you guys agree. If not, let me know why. I would like to get better here. Okay, so now we're going to see is printf. We're going to printf %.4 f, and we're going to print this value. Oop. All right. So this is going to round our decimal value to 4 places of precision for this float. So this is going to we'll say our output prediction is quote it's going to be just what, 83.16. Now, is this 4 decimal places? This might be 4 decimal places, so maybe it's 1620. Let's confirm here. So if we want to print a float value 3 decimal places, and the original input is, okay, so it is depicted only on, the precision applies to the decimal values. Okay. So yeah, we would add a 0 there for 4 decimal places, I believe. Okay, let's do D. Printf here. We're going to printf %-6.2g. Okay, we're going to use this g operator now, or insertion thingamajig, whatever it is called again. I gotta look it up. Okay, this is 6 zeros, 9979. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9979. Okay, so our G here, G displays a floating point number in either exponential format or fixed decimal format, depending on the number's size. P indicates the maximum number of significant digits, not after the decimal place, to be displayed. Unlike F conversion, the G conversion won't show trailing zeros. Okay, so this is a really small number. So this is probably going to give us this in what, exponential form? Okay, so I've never actually done this example before, so I'm going to kind of do a little intuitive guess. Because it's a really small number with a lot of zeros. Oh, we have -6, so in our field. So we have 6 values. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to fill these 6 fields. We're negative bound, so our number is going to be hugging the right if there is any space on the right, or on the left. I mean, if there is any blank space, it'll be on the right. It's left bound, and we're going to have 2 values of precision. But it said, so would it be like 0.9? 979 e to the, no, but it's -6, so we're already off here. We only have 6 field spaces, so it might just get rid of, no, because what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm curious on this one. Is it going to print it in exponential form, where we have to bring the value in a negative, but we only have 6 field spaces to choose from? Hey, Jimmy Boats, what's going on? It's probably not that hard to write a handwriting recognition trainer in C and using min set data to train. So you gotta have some PyTorch library, but it's called libtorch. Oh, interesting. Yeah. When we get into there, we'll have to maybe get into more machine learning stuff. I've got a book on it for Python that we're going to hopefully get into at a later date. Okay, I want to see what this one does, okay? So let's go ahead and try to compile this. So let's go cd into chapter 3. Slash chapter 3 exercises. Okay, never mind. We'll just cd into chapter 3. Oh, whoops. Chapter 3. cd into chapter 3 exercises. Let's cd into chapter 3 exercise 1. Let's go, come on, you can remember this. You got this, you can remember this. Okay, so we want to do GCC dash O chapter 3 exercise 1 exe chapter 3 exercise 1 dot c. Do we do the dot? Yeah. Okay, so we got a compile error here. So let's see. On line 8. My bad. Okay. Try that one more time. Okay, now what we're gonna do is go dot slash chapter 3 exercise 1 exe. Aha, here we go. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, so on our prediction, we predicted that we'd get field spaces of. Okay, so it looks like we got 8, 6, 40, but we got a whole bunch of field spaces. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 additional field spaces out front. Hmm. Hmm. Oh no. Oh wait. I'm sorry. So the 86. I'm sorry. This is not the same number, right? This is 86 comma 1040. 86. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaced out front. Perfect for 6 total spaces. Now we print out 1040, so it's exactly what that looks like right here. Boom. Okay. So now we print out this guy here, which is our prediction was we put 2 characters out front, but it looks like we only got 1 character out front. This is doing O because I added a 0 at the end. O because the X applies to the uh, the 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 decimal place. So the 5 is to the decimal place. Okay, so it would go a 0 here because it would be 5 applied to the decimal place, which is the precision value. Okay, so then we have, so we got 3.02530 E E plus 0.1. Perfect. Okay, so that matches there now. So we're missing. Okay, so when we do precision on exponent prints, the precision applies to the decimal places like it would to float values. Okay, now we have this C. This C prints 4 precision values on this float. So we have 83.16. Let's recompile this with some printfs in between here. I'm just gonna leave these as they are in the examples. I'm not gonna put printfs at the end of them. So I'll just put some printfs in between here. And then let's go ahead and recompile this. Am I trolling? Sorry, \n, not /n. Let's recompile here. Perfect. Okay, so this gives us 831620, like we predicted. Awesome. Okay, now this guy. Okay, so it was in the negative form. Okay, it did output an exponent in the negative form. So our prediction was, we didn't have a prediction, but our thought process was correct. We just didn't know how we were supposed to write it really. So 1 e to the negative 0.6. So it rounds it to 0.2. Okay, so it rounds. I'm gonna look this one. I need to look this one up for sure. Okay, so this is what it gives you here. I'll just say output, not prediction, because these aren't our predictions really anymore. They're the actual outputs. Okay, so let's go here. Oh. Can you please explain this print f? I'm trying to learn more about the G. What's it called in our notes? What do we exactly call it? These are called conversion specifiers. This is a great question because the G conversion specifier in C is one of the trickier ones in printf. Let's break down your example carefully. The components of the format specifier. Percent starts the format specifier, left justifies with the negative, and we have a field width of 6. A minimum field width, rather, right? And then we have a precision of 2, right? For G, this means the total number of significant digits, 2, not digits after the decimal. Okay, so if that, not digits after the decimal. So how's it doing this then? G uses either %f fixed point or %e exponential format depending on the value, size, and precision. The G logic, the %g as a specifier chooses between %f and %e automatically. If the exponent is less than -4 or greater than or equal to the precision, it uses scientific notation like this. Otherwise, it uses normal scientific notation like this, normal decimal notation. So in our number here, that's roughly 9.9 times 10 to the -7, right? Let's check the exponent. Exponent to the -6, right? Exponent equals -6. Since 9.9 equals -7, and precision is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a field width of 8. So that's not what it's talking about here. Since the exponent -6 is less than -4. Oh yeah, okay. It has 6 leading zeros. It uses scientific notation, so it will print this, but rounded to 2 significant digits. So 9.979 rounded to 2 significant digits is 1.0 e to the -06. It's 5 characters long, so it specifies minimum width of field 6 and length justifies a negative flag. So I'll have 1 space added to the end. Okay, so that's why it has this space actually here. Got you. Okay, that was number 1. Let's go ahead and move. Let's just recompile that really quickly because we did change something. There we go. Okay, let's move on here. CD chapter 3, exercise 2. Okay, here we go. Exercise 2 here. Let's keep it pushing. Okay. Write calls of printf that display a float variable x. Let me just really quickly, I wanted to check on my stream the music in the background because some of my streams the music has been too loud. So I'm actually going to mute this music now for me. Sorry, so the 86, I'm sorry, this is not the same. Okay, so it rounds, but rounded to 2 significant digits. So 9.979 rounded to 2 significant digits. It's not bad. I might do it a little bit lower. Okay. Hey, Chris, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube. I appreciate you, my boy. Chris Coogan. You're the boy. Hey, how's it going, man? Welcome back in. Okay. Chapter exercise 2. Write calls to printf that display a float variable x in the following formats. Okay, so let's get our main program going here. So we want to include the standard io.h, and we're going to go into main, and we're going to have a void. Open this up, and then we're going to have a here. Write calls to printf to display a float variable. Oh, hold on. In our last program, actually, we forgot a return value. Okay. Let me go ahead. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Write calls of printf that display a float variable x in the following formats. Okay, so let's get a variable x here. Float x equals to, let's say, 3.14. And let's put f. So in A, we're going to display it in a certain format. Printf. And we're going to display exponential notation left justified in a field size of 8. Okay, so we're going to go, we're going to do percent 8 dot one digit after the decimal place, 1 f comma x. So this will print a field space of 8 that is left justified with a field size with a 1 digit after the decimal place. Okay, let's go B. Print f to exponential notation. Oh, I'm sorry. Exponential notation. 1 digit after the decimal point. Oh, okay, so 1 digit after the... Yeah, okay, so it's just like in float. It should be out after the decimal point. Okay, now we have printf here. We're going to do percent. Exponential notation right justified in a field size of 10. Okay, so we're going to have exponential notation right justified in a field size of 10, so positive 10 with 6 digits after the decimal point. I think that'll do it. Okay, let's do printf. Now let's move on here. Hey Jackal, how's it going? Hey Tim, call me Unk, bro. No, not the Unk calls. No, not the Unk. Hey Jackal, how's it going? Yeah, we're learning C. We've been doing pretty well and getting more advanced in Python, but I wanted to, further advance my skills in Python by diving deeper into where it came from, C, and understanding more about C Python under the hood by being able to interpret C and be able to, see what's going on. So, and then incorporate maybe our own functions in C and then port those into Python so they're faster, and maybe our own libraries and whatever. I don't know. It could be fun. All right, for each of the following pairs of scanf format, okay, no, we're not done with this. We're on C. Fixed decimal notation, left justified in a field size of 8. So fixed decimal, does that just mean floating point? Is that fixed decimal? I think so. So float, percent float, left justified in a field size of 8 with 3 digits after the decimal point. Okay. Let's do D. Printf. And we're going to do percent. Which one's this one? Fixed decimal notation, F. Right justified with a field size of 6. And no digits after the decimal point. Okay. So now let's go ahead and add in some print F indicators here, just for the \n that we want to do. Let's copy this line here. Let's go down here and print it. Delete this, go down here and print this line. Right here. Okay, and then let's compile this. Let's go up here to our compiler statement. We're in chapter 3, exercise 2 now. Exercise 2.c. Oh, semicolon, not a colon. Whoops. going on? Ugh, what's it? Okay. Let's do our statement here. Really? Okay, you suck. Let's bring our GCC-O chapter 3 exercise 2 exe. We're going to make the file chapter 3 exercise 2.c. Okay, so we got a warning. 2 warnings generated. Conversion and data arguments insufficient. Two warnings generated. Conversions, then data arguments. Conversion arguments, printf. Okay, so if I run this, this is what we get. So A should be exponential notation, left justified at field size of 8. Can't really tell where the field size kind of ends. Field size of 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. With 6 digits out of the decimal point, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. In exponential format. So this second one it doesn't like, right? No, it doesn't like our first one, which is this guy here, which is left justified in a field size of 8. One digit after decimal point, exponential notation. So why are we getting these? Oh, I have no argument, you dum-dum. Come on, man. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. So I'm guessing that there's extra characters over here. Right? Like, let's make this, like, really long. Let's go, like, 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then let's go here and compile this. Okay, because we just can't tell, right? Because of the space off to the side here. If we were to print these right side by side, we could probably tell here. Let's try that. Okay, so now we're getting them printed here, but that's not -8. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is. Okay, perfect. With left bound. Okay, great. And then we're getting this guy. So let's bring that guy back. So we know that's working. Okay, so this one is 10 characters, right bound with 6 decimals after. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. But it didn't round on that 8, which is interesting, right? It should have made it a 9, right? And then with 10 places total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So does this count? Does the E plus in this statement count as spacings? Let's go to our notes here. So this has 10. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it does include the E and the plus characters. So if I get rid of this printf then, just to see if that prints next to it, it just goes right next to it. Is because the precision is pushing. Oh, it's minimum, right? It's minimum. So because precision is pushing over the minimum requirement, it can override, I think that's why. That would definitely make sense, right? Because it's a minimum field width. It's not bound by that, it's minimum field width. So the precision indicator could override that and push it beyond. That does make sense. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now we get, we want to print, C is fixed decimal notation, left justified in field of 8. So let's see if we got that field of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Left justified with 3 decimals after. Nice. And then this guy is just fixed decimal notation, right justified in field size of 6 with no decimals after. No. So if we do 0.0, I think it's 0.0 is what we actually need. Six spaces. Fixed decimal notation, right justified in a field size of 6 with no decimal point after. Yeah, so that would put the 1 there. Got you. Okay. Nice. That takes care of this problem. Let's move on to our next one. Halfway done with the exercise, almost halfway done with the exercises here. Let's CD into chapter 3, exercise 3. Oh. CD, back. Why isn't it going back? Oh, because I opened this terminal at this point. So let's just do that again, I guess. Okay, cool. So let's move on here. Number 3. For each of the following pairs of scanf, write format strings indicating whether or not the two strings are equivalent. If they are not, show how they can be distinguished. For each of the following pairs of scanf format strings, indicate whether or not the two strings are equivalent. If they're not, show how they can be distinguished. If they're not, show how they can be distinguished. For each of the following pairs of scanf format strings, indicate whether or not the two strings are equivalent. If they're not equivalent, show how they can be distinguished. Okay. So let's do like A okay, so A is quote percent D close quote versus quote space percent D close quote. Right. So in my notes, the scanf function ignores white space characters and new line characters. So I believe that scanf will ignore the white space character and just extract out the percent D given. So scanf ignores white space. So these are equal in terms of scanf POV. I don't know. Like that. So these ones are obviously not equal because these have characters. Well, we said they ignore the spaces. So What up, Joe? Okay, so for each of the following pairs of scanf format strings indicate whether or not the two strings are equivalent or not should have to be distinguished. Okay, so if we remember right, for section 3.2 in white space characters, when it encounters one or more consecutive white space characters in a format string, scanf repeatedly reads white space characters from the input until it reaches non-white space characters. Then it's put back. The number of white space characters in format string is irrelevant. One white space character in the format string will match any number of white space characters in the input. Identically, putting a white space character in a format string doesn't force the input to contain white space characters. A white space character in a format string matches any number of white space characters in the input, including none. When it encounters other non-white space characters in a format string, scanf compares with the next input character. If the two characters match, scanf discards the input character and continues processing of the further format string. For example, if it's this, the input is this. Scanf skips the first space while looking for an integer, matches the percent D with 5, matches the forward slash, skips the space, and matches D with that. Another. Okay, great. Yeah, so that A is right then. So it'll skip the space and match that. So then I believe in this other example, if that's true, that other example is also true as well, because it'll skip the spacings and just match. Let's go include standard io.h. Let's go int main void. Let's open up this function and declare a printf statement where we're going to call, we're going to look for, I will say enter value. Right? And then we're going to call scanf and do this literally percent D there. And look for space percent D. And then save this in ampersand I. And then I say int I. We're going to printf %d I. Okay, so if I compile this, chapter 3, and then do this guy, chapter 3, let's do 10. Okay, it just prints out that. Now if I do it again, and do space 10, gives me out 10. Okay, so yeah, those are equivalent. So now if I do what's up, Mike? Nice name. How's it going? I don't know. I really don't know what I want to do in regards to, I just like writing code, honestly, in a lot of different formats. It's really non-specific. I just am kind of better at it in a certain area than others, but I really just kind of like writing code and just doing it. It's fun. Learning about it, I think it's really interesting. Like, it's a completely human created thing. Like, it's really cool. Like, I like it. it's I don't know. Okay, so let's then put in this other format. So %d, and we're going to save this I, j, k, I, j, and k. Print. Oh my gosh. First, T. I got the hiccups. Holy crap. I got them bad. Okay, so let's see here. So if we do 10, enter, that doesn't work, right? We get garbage values because we entered in the incorrect format. But if I run this and do 10, 11, 12, I get my output, okay? Now if I run this, do 10, 11, 12, oh, whoops. Hold on, my bad. 10, 11, 12, enter, gets garbage values. Okay, so that is not the same. So %d versus, quote, %d space %d. Are not equal. It would want, and if they're not, show how they can be distinguished. What does that even mean? If they're not equal, show how they can be distinguished. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Actually, hold on. Let's say, let's do put in our scanf this. So if we run this, or compile it and run it, we enter 10-11-12, just in the regular format and it's looking for spaces, it extracts that out. Okay. But if I run and do 10, 11, 10, 11, 12 with no space, okay, so that it does ignore. So these are equal then? Hey, Adida, how's it going? I'm kind of confused on like what this is. Well, I want to take this one. Let's get some help. Oh. Well, that format was really trash. Let's just go, let's write them out maybe. So I can copy from here. %f versus %f space. And d %f comma %f versus quote %f space %f close quote. I am trying to solve this problem and am getting a little confused on what it is asking in terms of like how it's distinguished. I did some tests, and for the first two at least that I tried, the inputs with spaces well, hold on, let me just do one thing really quickly. Let's say scanf is in this normal format with no spaces, and I run this. Oh. Okay, 10 dash 11 dash 12. So let me give a bunch of spaces here and do 12 and see what happens. Okay, so it does ignore all spaces. But now if I deliberately put spaces in my scanf string and I run this and I do 10, 11, 12 with more than one space, it formats it down. Well, that's just because I'm printing it in that format, right? Let's get some more. That's a subtle but really good C question that's testing how scanf actually matches input. The equivalent, right? Scanf automatically skips any leading white spaces, tabs, spaces, tabs, new lines before reading numeric input with D, F, C, except with this, right? Okay. The literal space in space %D is redundant since white space in scanf format means skip any amount of white space. So %D and space %D behave the same. These are not equivalent. Literal characters like dash in scanf format must exactly match the input. White space in the format spaces before the dash or %D means skip any amount of white space. So format expected. No white spaces allowed between numbers and dashes. Optional white spaces allowed between numbers and dashes. Okay, so if I run this with these closed off and I compile, and I do 10-11-12, it goes garbage. Okay, great. So those are not equivalents, right? We had it right before. Not equal because quote space dash percent, because the second allows for any white space between the white space where the spaces are. Okay, now in this guy, do we ignore trailing white space? Do we ignore trailing white space? That's another question here. So let's try if we have a float of 3.14 and we just have float, sorry, of I, and we put in here percent %f, I'll put in here ampersand I to save it at that pointer, then print out percent %f, just I, right? If we do 3.14 like this with a space afterwards, it gives us the value. If I do a deliberate space, I can say any white space afterwards is allowed. So with a space there, that just says that any white space after is allowed. And it automatically formats. So let's do the 0.2. Let's format to 0.2. Or let's just take into 0.2, right? And so let's go 3.14 spaces all the way at the end, like tons. Yeah, it didn't allow me to have white space there, right? It was waiting for me to enter in more characters in order to close that off. Interesting, okay. But if I allow for trailing white space at the end like it is now, that happens? Yeah, okay. So I allow for any amount of trailing white space, but a number has to close it off. Whereas if I remove this, and do 3.14 with a bunch of spaces, it just gets rid of it all. Huh, so I don't think these are equivalent either. Because why aren't they equivalent? So when you have the space at the end of the scanf, it should allow you for any space after the character, but it prompted me to further enter in a numerical value after all my spacings to show that this number was now finished. Whereas before, with this format now, it just cut it off. These are not equivalent. Reason, %f reads a float and stops at the first non-numeric, non-decimal, non-exponent character. The trailing space tells scanf to skip any amount of white space after the float and then wait for something else in the input if the input doesn't end. We'll finish as soon as the float is read. This will wait for to the non-space character. Perfect. That's exactly what we discovered, because quote % f space, quote, will wait for a final character, final numeric character after allowable infinite, allowable, not infinite, maybe allowable white space. Something like that. Okay, now this guy, it's going to be similar to this guy up here, right? Or this one doesn't allow for any white space, and this one does. So these are not equal. Not equal because, quote, percent f, quote, allows for white space after the comma, where quote, percent f comma percent f comma. Okay, so let's take my answer here, and let's go see what we, here is my, let's get some feedback here. Very close to reasoning, mostly solved. There's one small correction for part D, everything else is spot on. So it's equivalent. Scanf ignores leading white space before numeric input, so the inputs behave the same. Not equivalent, the second scanf allows additional white space before each, while the first requires the dashes to appear immediately. The C is not equivalent because the percent f space will await for non-white space character. And this is equivalent. Okay, actually it is. Equivalent. Scanf treats white space in the format as skip any amount of white space, but both allow optional spaces after the comma. What? Okay, let's see. Three 0.14, comma, space 3.14. That works. Really? Why does that one work? Why do... D work? D. There are two kinds of characters in scanf formation: conversion specifiers, they read and convert input data, and literal characters that are not space, not percent or white space. Must match exactly the input. Scanf does not skip spaces or tolerate extra spaces around them unless you explicitly include a white space in the format. White spaces in the format string space tab new line match any amount of white space including none in the input. Apply this to your two cases. What's white space? The space before the hyphen. In the first format, there's no space before the dashes, so the input matches exactly. Must match exactly. If you put spaces right here, it fails. In the second format, you've inserted spaces before each literal dash. The space skip says skip any amount of white space before the dash. Even 12 with this amount of spaces will work. For this, the comma, what's literal is the comma, and what's white space, the space after the comma only in the second. The first format expects a literal comma right after the first float, but it will automatically skip white space after the comma because %f itself ignores leading white space. Oh, I didn't know that. %f ignores leading white space. The second formatter just makes sure white space is skipping explicit, doesn't change the behavior. Okay, I didn't know that was a property of %f. Because it's not super obvious to look at format, let's break it down clearly. Since the white space skipping behavior is one of the most important scanf quirks to understand. When you see any of these conversion specifiers, scanf automatically skips any leading white space before reading the actual value. You can type 42, you can type space is 42 and %d reads 42 just fine. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. So let's go to our notes then. Scanf. So yeah, okay. It's a good thing to know. Okay, so these are equal because this allows for white space because and in this %f skips leading white space. Percent value percent or what are they called? Called conversion specifiers. Skips leading white space. Okay, let's show here. Let's take this. Let's get some feedback here. Great. So equivalent, if %f space %f allows white space after the comma, but in %f, the scanf already skips leading white space before reading. Okay, so it's a little bit cleaned up here, so I'm going to take this and just put it here. It's a little bit more clean. Same info that we wrote here. Nice. Okay, let's move on to exercise number 4 here. Let's close these up. Chapter exercise 4. Here we go. All right. Oh, this is 5. Here we go. All right, let's keep pushing. No, we haven't coded in Java. Hey, how's it going? DSA day by day. Ashish, how's it going? Hey, Adidas, welcome in. Welcome back. Where am I from? Are you talking to me or are you talking to Mr. India? YouTube is not rendering. Seems to be fine. Seems to be okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting some notices from my stream there. Looks like it's alright. Oh, I forgot to start the Twitch. Dang it. My bad. Okay. Better late than never. Sorry, Twitch. We're a little late. Okay. Exercise 4. Let's get pushing. Okay, this has a little star next to it. Not sure what that means. Suppose that we call scanf as follows. If the user enters this, what will be the values of I, x, and j after the call? Assume that I and j are int variables and x is a float variable. Okay. So what will the values of I, x, and j be after the call? So we're calling %d, %f, %d, and we're saving those values in I, x, and j. We enter this 10.3 space 5 space 6. Okay, so the 10 is going to be read into %d. The 0.3 is going to be read into the f. And then the 5 it skips any leading white space. So this leading white space is going to be skipped on this %d, but it's going to come up to this space and it's going to stop. So I think this 6 might get left off. So let's try this. Let's include the standard io.h header file. And let's go ahead and int main void here. And let's open this up. We're going to call printf. We're going to say enter values. And then we'll space this. And then we're going to go scanf. And we're going to open this up. And we're going to read in %d, %f, %d. And then we're going to save this in %i, %x, and %j memory locations. And then we're going to have int I and j. And then we're going to have float x declared. And then we're going to return, we're going to print f to quote %d, %f, %d, and we'll insert into there I, x, and j. And see what we get. Okay. And then we're going to return 0 here. So I think that this 6 is going to be left off and that 10 will be saved. What I think is going to happen. I think I will equal to, I is going to equal to 10. X is going to equal to 0.3. And J is going to equal to 5. And I think that this 6 value might not come back. Might get void. Okay, let's look. Alright, let's try it. Put your guesses in chat if you're playing along here. Alright, exercise 3. Sorry, exercise 4, my bad. Exercise 4. Exercise 4. Enter values. So we're going to enter in this expression right here. Got some spaces there. 10.3 space 5 space 6. Did I do this right? So we get 100.30005. What will the values of I, X, and J be after the call? Ten point three, 5, and 6. 10, 0.3, and 5. Oh yeah, we were right. Okay, it was just mashing it all together. Okay, cool. So let's just do \ns here. And then let's run this. That should take care of that formatting. So this is going to get 10.3, 5, 6. 10, 0.3, and 5. Nice. So result, so I'll say my guess is this, and result is I is equal to 10, J is equal to 0.3123455, and then J is equal to 5. This is X. So I just say I forgot that floats by default have 6 decimals, 6 digits after the decimal, as well as a leading 0. All right, well, I got that part right. I don't think I see. Yeah. We'll say 6 digits at the decimal. Okay. It's not really relevant. We'll just keep the result here. And we'll move on. Cool. So let's just compile this up. Run it one more time. Make sure it works. 10.3, 5, and 6. Nice. Cool. All right, that was number 4. Let's go ahead and keep it pushing here. With number 5. And let's open this up. Okay, number 5. Suppose that we call scanf as follows. Scanf, %f, %d, %f, x, y, and xi and y, and the user enters this. What will the values of x, y, and b after the call? Okay, another kind of one of these ones. This was fun. Let's open this up. Let's do int main void. Oop. And let's open up this program, or this function, and let's call printf, and let's say enter values, and let's do this, and then we're going to go here, we're going to call scanf, we're going to scan in this here. I'll just copy this for simplicity's sake. Okay, %f, %d, %fs, no, ampersand x, I, and y, and then we're going to print f to these values, %f, \n, %d, \n, %f, \n. And then we're going to insert x, I, and y, and then let's add in that, and let's go up here and take a float to x and y, and then let's take an int to the I variable. And then at the end of this program, we're going to return 0. Cool. So let's just say results up here. Let's say x equals to I equals to and y equals to. Okay, let's see what we got. So if they're gonna look for a float, so this will be read by a float. It'll hit this space and it will stop. So the first %f will get taken by this 12.3. And it's gonna have 12.3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits at the end. 6 digits total at the end. Now this D is going to be taken by this 45. Because it hits that decimal and stops. Now this %f here will be taken by this 0.6. And I believe this 789 will be left off. Let's go ahead and run this program. Drop your guesses in the chat if you're here, doing it alongside me. Let's go ahead and get into this. Exercise 5. Include standard io.h dir. Okay, and let's go and run this. Enter values, so we're going to enter 12.3 space 45.6 space 789. 12.3 0 0 0 0 45 0.6 0 0 0 0. Boom! Let's go. Let's go. Awesome. Moving on. Next one. I think this is last exercise. I like these ones. These ones are fun. Okay. All right, we're in exercise 6 here. All right, let's go. Last one here. Show how to modify the addfrac.c program from section 3.2 so that the user is allowed to enter fractions that contain spaces before and after each / character. Okay, so let's go to our add fraction function that was up here, right here, and let's go ahead and do this. So this is going to be adds to fractions, and we're going to do include the standard io.h header file. We're going to have int main void. We'll open this up, and we're going to do this. So we're going to int num1, denom1, numerator 2, denominator 2, result numerator, and result denominator. Okay, we're going to do printf to enter first fraction, and then we're going to close this. We're going to call scanf here to a %d /%d and save this in the memory pointer for num1 and in denom1. We're going to take this in its entirety, basically, copy it down, enter second fraction, and this will save in numerator 2 and denominator 2. And then we're going to do a result numerator is equal to numerator 1 times denominator 2 plus numerator 2 times denominator 1, and then we have result denom is going to equal to denom1 times denom2, and then we have printf to the sum is %d /%d \n quote result num result denom. And then we're going to return 0 there. Okay. If we go ahead and compile this, exercise 6, exercise 6, and then run this, enter first fraction, 1 over 2, enter section fraction, 1 over 2, 4 over 4. Which is 1, which is not reduced down, right? It does not reduce down. Remember that this doesn't reduce down. So if we just test this one more time with the example, 5 over 6, 3 over 4, 38 over 24. Perfect. Okay, so our assignment for this was to modify the program to allow the user to enter fractions that contain spaces before and after each slash. So that's all you have to do, I think. Because this will ignore white space before. So let's compile this and run this. Enter in 1 divided by 1 over 2, 1 over 2, 4 over 4. Let's try it one more time. Let's do a 2 space over here. 1, let's do a space over here. 4, 4. Perfect. Cool. Let's take this and say, I modified this to allow for spaces between the before and after the. Nice, you're on the right track. Lack of space before the final %d doesn't matter much since %d already skips white space by default. The most flexible version would be this. So you could just specify it explicitly, but it's kind of a little bit redundant. Is that not redundant? You're absolutely right to think about that. Let's break it down carefully. %d skips any leading white space before the integer. The space before the slash in %d slash %d allows for potential white space before that. The slash except for that expects that exact character, and the %d again skips any leading white space before. Now if you write this, the leading white space before the first d is technically redundant in this specific case because %d already ignores the white space. So functionally, this and this do the same thing. The only minor difference is style and intent clarity. So I will say I can also do quote %d slash %d the white space before leading white space before the right, you can also do that. One over 2, 1 over 2. Perfect. Perfect. Nice. Hey Ray, how's it going? Welcome back in, my boy. If you guys are here and enjoying the stream and enjoying the practice problems here, please give a like if you could. I'd really appreciate it. In my free time on my Sunday, I learn and see with you guys. So you guys are learning C with me, let me know, and let me know more about you guys. If you guys are computer science majors or independent learners, let me know more about you. And I try my best to be transparent with everything I'm learning here, and pretty much do a lot of the coding I do live here on the stream. So thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Michael. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. I make and manufacture biological controls that are used in like patient diagnostics. I kind of specialize in advanced like matrix manipulation for chemical serum combination. I've written some actual scripts and programs for my work to compute this automatically, which is pretty cool. And I've been learning more about programming in general. So, with diving more into C here, I appreciate you guys for being here. This wrapped up the exercises for Chapter 3 on page 49 of C Programming, A Modern Approach by K.N. King, 2nd edition. It's this book right here. We completed the exercises for Chapter 3 today, which was a lot of fun. This was a good practice. We're getting more familiarity with the the uh, the specifiers, right? The I always forget the name of what they're exactly called. Conversion specifiers, right? Get back over here to chapter 3. Here's chapter 3. Here's the Q&A exercise that we just finished, and here's the programming projects. These are coming up next. We'll probably take a stab at these either probably tomorrow, but I do want to finish and get back into, or we do need to finish the problem set 4 for MIT OpenCourseWare 6.0002 Introduction to Computational Thinking and Data Science. We are on the back half of that course, and I do want to keep going. I don't want to forget and follow through on another one of our learnings. I want to keep pushing and finish things and get things checked off and crossed off our to-do. So I really appreciate you guys being patient with me on that. We are going to finish and take a start at starting problem set number 4, which is the predecessor to week 9, right? After we finish that, we can start watching week 9 and continue on with the course, which we're almost done with. So let's just quickly here write a program that accepts a date from the user in the form of this and then displays it in the form of this. Oh, these are pretty simple. Write a program that formats product information entered by the user. A session with the program should look like this. Okay, that's pretty easy too. Books are identified by this. Okay, cool. So some cool, just more string formatting practice problems that we'll do next time. We did a stream here for an hour and 38 minutes on this Sunday. I appreciate you guys for being here and joining me for tonight. Before I go, I do want to show you guys some Python code I wrote this weekend. Let me go ahead and add this up though. Git add complete chapter 3 exercises. Okay, cool. You guys, these remember, you guys can find all of the answers to my these practice problems and my notes in my GitHub link down below. I have a really awesome notes that I've been taking here that have been very helpful for referencing back onto, as well as I've gotten some good. I've been really organizing, keeping these exercises organized for you with the code and the compiled code as well, and then having the notes in their files for all the chapters as well as the programming projects too for like chapter 2 that we've done so far, right? So if you guys want to reference back to these answers and solutions, feel free to do so. Let me move the YouTube chat though back down to its original spot here by my camera. Okay. Okay, cool. That was C Programming, a Modern Approach exercises for Chapter 3. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you guys could throw a like on the stream. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys really quickly before I sign off my my Better Options program I've been writing here. So I've been writing this program called Better Options, which is just a way to visualize options graphically, whether it be in stock data graphically. Um, and so I've been kind of generating, I don't know whether it would be kind of like this backend or like engine or whatever you would call it. I'm not sure if it's like an engine or anything, but like it's just kind of like a backend functionality of functions, or like, like, I guess engine is kind of the word I would use. I really don't know any formal definition of like programming engines, but like it kind of runs the entire thing with all of this functionality in these objects, right, in these classes. So I anywho, I've been writing some code here. Let me go ahead and catch you guys up to speed. Uh, for example, um, for example, you have a stock here, and the stock takes in various information, or it just takes in a ticker symbol from the user. And the ticker then is generated into a Y financed object, and that's just as reference in this instance variable. And so then we can extract out Y finance information through this instance variable kind of linkage, and then kind of add on additional functionality that we want for our investing purposes. So, for example, like we have a function here to get the volumes. It's pretty simple, right? You have a period of time, right? If it's less than 365 days, it has to be within a year. You get history for 1 year, you extract out the volumes, you divide the volumes within millions, and then we can plot them here. So that's how that's happening. So for example, if I run volumes stock.get volumes here on my testing object and run, you can see what we get is this, where we have these volumes kind of factored down to by the millions, and you can see that cake stock experienced over the past 10 trading days in this period provided a heavy increase in volume. And then if we want to go ahead and match that function with like get past prices for the past 10 trading days, which is this guy here, it's a very similar kind of functionality where we get the past prices, right, for the amount of trading days, or I guess period. I kind of go back and forth. Kind of need to maybe clean that up. And then you obviously have the ability to plot. Then I also added this Fibonacci yesterday. So I added this Fibonacci function, which will calculate Fibonacci's based on this period of trading days. And it's pretty cool. So, like, for example, if we run this now, this is what we get here for that past prices. So as you can see, is on that 29th where we saw that heavy spike in volume, we saw cake stock dip below it's over this 10-day period, these Fibonacci levels for this 10-day period. Now, these Fibonacci's do depend upon the period. Like I might add in some additional parameters to the Fibonacci function for like a user indicated maximum, right? Because right now it's just getting the maximum and minimum of that generated period and plotting, internal Fibonacci bands. But if I wanted to predict potential Fibonacci bands for like risk to reward or whatever in the future, based on current pricing and a potential 100% target, I would need to allow the user to enter that 100% target to have these Fibonacci levels kind of predict the next sequences of levels, right, for this, right? So I've been thinking about potentially adding that in as well. But it's kind of cool here because you can see that we had over this past 10-day trading period where we're also getting volumes over 10 days, and that one will pop up next. Hey, thanks, OCH. I appreciate you for the sub. Right? We dip below that lower Fibonacci band, and we saw a heavy increase of buying pressure, or at least not buying pressure, but volume. We don't know if it was buying or selling, But with cake stock experiencing some of these yearly lows that we've been seeing, or not yearly lows, but this recent kind of pullback on some pretty steady financials from the company and some solid growth from its sister companies that it's starting to develop, I guess, with Flower Child and whatnot, North Italia. I'm kind of assuming that we might be getting some buy pressure here to kind of retest these Fibonacci levels into this 50 range. So, and then if we kind of move on to this other function, we can see that that volume really showed a spike of almost like 2 to 3, 2, maybe 2.5x from our average. So let's go ahead and extend out our trading days for the past prices to maybe 50, and then also our volume of 50. Maybe we can notice any other trends that take place here. This is just my testing file here. I'm not really good at writing many like formal tests. I kind of just plug and chug and try a bunch of edge cases until I think I have everything sorted out, which isn't the best approach for sure, but I don't know. I haven't really learned any formal methods yet. But it's kind of cool here because this Fibonacci indicator showed that this cake stock did have a nice rebound off of its low 52 on this 52 price, which was right on that low Fibonacci level. So, and then you can see that this purple fib band here, this price stayed steady here for quite some time. So, there is some like trends kind of taking place at these levels sometimes. So it's good to kind of keep them in mind, but obviously there is no factual like evidence that these actually have any indication of price, movements or whatnot. But it's kind of clear as day just from this small data that this price really stayed around this level. Probably do maybe some other things, maybe just due to like block order ish things and whatnot. But there's obviously other indicators at play that we can start to plot and develop here. But cake stock, I've been looking to kind of pick up some more shares of here, especially below this $50 price, mainly because we've been seeing volume picking up. We've been dipping below these Bollinger Bands, and we had earnings a few weeks ago show some pretty positive growth in a pretty rocky economy for kind of expensive food takeout, right, and stuff like that. So like my kind of thesis is that fast food has been increasing in price, and we notice stocks like Chipotle and McDonald's has a lot of property and a lot of other like a lot of American sentiment into it. So it's kind of an outlier, but stocks like Chipotle, Cava, these kind of fast casual takeout, Sweet Green, these fast casual takeouts that people have been like saying, well, if I'm gonna spend 16, $20 on fast casual, I might as well go to a cake or to a Chili's or to a whatnot and just spend the extra $5, get a server, have my food come to me, bottomless refills, enjoy some sports while I'm there, get like making a night out, right? It's like if you might as well spend the extra $5 or like 10%, or whatever. No, probably more like 20%, which is kind of a lot actually, but in the grand scheme of things for how consumers have been spending, it definitely is a plausible thesis or idea maybe, but it's kind of interesting, right? So it's the stock I've been watching here. So this is that volume, as you can see, as this stock has been experiencing some turbulence this past couple of months. People have been either been selling or they've been so maybe we got some sell pressure here, right, to kind of cause those fall offs. But this is pretty abnormal. This is pretty abnormal, right? And even if we go volume over the past 365 trading days, right? And let's go ahead and just cancel out this get price. If we go this far out, we saw some really spikes in volume back in 2025 of February, right? Um, so I wonder, like, if we go ahead and get past price of the past year as well, and kind of compare what happened to our price during that time. What happened to our price back in February? Yeah, so I've got to do something with this. It's pretty brutal. So I do need to zoom though, I think is probably my best bet. So this is for 2024, 2025. So probably like right, let's zoom here. Yeah, 225. So we saw some heavy buying volume coming in, and then about a month later, no, about 2 months later, and then about a month later, we saw some price movement. So it's definitely not like a for sure indicator here. That could have started this maybe move downward, but yeah. Um, your channel inspires me to continue my journey of self-learning and programming and game development. Hey, Ray, nice. I appreciate the kind words. You're awesome. I notice you coming in and day out, dude. You're one of the regular OGs here, so I guarantee you your hard work's probably paying off. And feel free to share some stuff with us in the Discord if you're wanting some feedback on what you've been working on and show off what your hard work is. It's not all about me here. Mike is cooking with gas now. I think AMSC is about to go on the moon, Mike. Chipotle stock is completely fried. We poor now, Mike. The kids have to go to Dollar Tree now. Yeah, dude. Now I'm still like overall, I think long on Chipotle. Now it's just a very like long position as like I'm slowly been kind of dollar cost averaging in on this pullback. I've kind of been anticipating this Chipotle pullback since the stock split that they took place about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, if it's been that long, year and a half. Maybe it wasn't even that long ago. Can't remember. But they've been really just falling ever since the stock split. And honestly, they've got to do a few things in house to flip around the sentiment of the customer. One, they need to fix portion size right off the bat. Two, they need to add more sides and rotate out sides seasonally. I think would be cool. Rather than just rotating out the protein, adding in some seasonal optional sides would help too. Rather, in addition to like their corn and their whatnot would help. Um, even some shakeup would help. Just portion size is just huge, and they're selling rice and beans at the end of the day. Like their margins can't be too. I mean, we can definitely look at the statements, but like I really think that if they took a cut on margin, they could really make up for it in volume, just because of how popular they are with millennial and younger crowds. Um, but until the CEO gets his head out of his cheeks, I don't know. I'm only doing like a couple dollar at cost, like a dollar a day DCA while it's in the dumps here, just because I know that my generation will feed back into Chipotle. They've proven it in the past with their E. coli outbursts. Like they will go back eventually, but it's just kind of as a slow burn at these low prices to kind of average in my opinion. Kava is a little bit of a different story. It kind of hasn't been tested, but it's followed similar trends as Chipotle. I do think Kava's food is better than Chipotle. I'm a big fan of the food. Every time I'm in a city with a Kava, I go. Um, I just think that with the Chipotle negative sentiment, they're going to feel the pressures because they don't have the seasonality or the tenure to kind of distinguish themselves yet in the market. And their financials haven't been that great anyways either. They still need to expand out their stores to more parts of the United States. There isn't even a Cava in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is just completely bogus in my opinion. Like it's one of your hottest markets in my opinion. They're strictly kind of expanding out in Florida area, which is I don't know. I don't know if that's really your hottest markets for that type of food. I mean Mediterranean. I mean California is a huge Mediterranean population and you know so I don't know. You got to start getting into California more and out into Northern California, um, in my opinion. Um, a Havoc Blades, no game. We're not making no game. This is stocks. We're this is the game of life, I guess. Um, let's take a peek at your ticker here, Tim. ASMC, AMSC. All right, let's go ahead and get the past prices for 365 days of AMSC here. I think you have a typo. It's not ASMC. Oh, it might be. I just didn't close this out. I'm trolling. A M ASMC. Oh yeah, okay. You were right. I'm trolling. I gotta fix this. I don't know how to fix this yet, but look at this stock, dude. since 2025. 3x. Oh, wow. Tim, did you catch this one? It's 3x since dude, there was some millionaires made at this tariff dip, man. I mean, I've made a huge return respectively to my account in respect to my account, uh, percentage wise, right? But some people they went all in and they made generational money here, like on stocks like Micron. I mean, we caught Micron. We didn't go all in, right? We only did about like 5% of the portfolio on Micron, and so that was a huge hit. I mean, we have about I got about I got like 5% of the portfolio in Compass. Um, I'm giving you guys some stocks here I haven't given you guys yet in the Discord that we talk about. I've been dude, I bought Compass stock at like $3. I've been riding this one too. I'm up almost like 80% on Compass stock, and I think I'm gonna ride this one to like 20 or something, but to at least 10 over, hopefully. This is like a psychedelic medicine space. Um, Big moves coming in this space, I think, for the foreseeable future. But yeah, on this dip, the financials were pretty good on this earnings statement, and we saw some buying, so I also bought here as well. Um, but Compass is another one here. It's a So I got an average about 330, I think. So right now it's hovering about 650. So it's doing pretty well so far on that guy. As you can see, me and a lot of other people had the same idea here. We had the same idea. You got I mean, that's why I've been using volume as my indicator a lot as my confirmation, because I don't really um I I like to follow the follow the money, like ride the wave, I'm not the smartest guy in this, definitely. I'm not like burning financial statements into my mind, like every single earning statement. Like I am reading them for the stuff I'm invested in, but it's not like my full-time thing. So I know I follow the people that kind of know what they're doing, and you can kind of you can, the data kind of tells a story, right? But like that was huge volume there. I mean, look at this. We saw. I wonder what this is going to be. Look at this guy. INTS. This is like another biopharma cancer company. Just doing nothing, just declining, right? Just like a biotech company does, biopharma company does. And then we get this move here. Now, what is this move here? Look at this volume spike on this stock. Now, I think that this was a offering at 80 cents to a private investor. The news came out, and we should know when this publishes by, I think, tomorrow. Or maybe it was today, I can't remember. But someone was willing to take an offering of like a ton of shares at 80 cents. So if you can, and right now it's at like 75 cents. So I don't know, it might be worth a couple bucks. Like, and obviously don't want to, like, we don't want to, I'm watching that one for sure. Tim bought back in August 2025. Oh, nice. But I mean, let's take like a look at Intel, right? So Intel got that Trump like package basically around here, right? August, beginning of August, they started to really start to take off. I actually bought shares right here. I bought shares at 1950. I sold shares at like 24 bucks. So yeah, big L, right? But I don't know. I haven't looked back. I honestly have no regret because Intel stock, look at this. Look at this just roller coaster. And in the past is the same way. Like I really don't trust this company. As far as I can throw it, I really don't trust like the news being thrown in it either. So like I did buy at these lows. I bought at each one of these lows, and I sold at each one of these highs around 25. 24 to 25, I unloaded my position each time. I did it about 3 or 4 times this year. So like each of these lows would be about. And then I caught this one too, and I sold it right around here as well. But it's really gone off here. But we've been seeing Intel volume die down here, right? As we've been getting up to these new like yearly highs, or not yearly highs. I don't think because we're been crashing, but just like intra year peaks, right? So it's kind of interesting. We're kind of seeing some, just kind of watching this data here. So, right, that's kind of what I've been working on here is kind of, this is currently private. I'm considering maybe like opening up this kind of stock information engine or whatnot to my Discord members, like only, or maybe like to channel members or whatever, like as like an option for you guys to also access, contribute to, if you want like open source wise. I am going to keep this fairly like restrictive though compared to my other projects because it does like have stock information and stuff I'm kind of working on, and I want it to be a little bit more close knit to community members that actually like care about it rather than just kind of everybody. Just specific to like the community members here. So let me know if you guys are interested in like getting access to this code. Currently it's private, but I will be. I'm open to like adding like Discord members or if I do channel memberships down the road, which I probably won't honestly, but I don't know. I don't want to go down that path really, but I don't know. But I've been writing today. Started writing this get news function, which basically just has a default count of 100 news articles, and then you have a date which is optional, and then you iterate through the news articles extracted from the YF ticker, and just create this news object. If you have a date, it has to be on that date to pass through the filter. If there is no date, it just extracts every news article within your given count. Um, so maybe 100 is a little bit too much for just default, but you'll get. And then what I did is I have this news class here that I just quickly wrote up, really easy. Uh, and we're just creating and just saving all the information in this class object, and then just having a way to output it here. So, for example, like if we just kind of go ahead and comment out our lines here, and do get news here and print the news results, or we'll go here and say for news in result, let's print out the news, and then let's print let's just print out a new line. And so if we run this guy, we should get our what? Classes with my news objects in there. And then it couldn't run my print news. Stir return non-string. Okay, so something's wrong with my news class here. We're going to return the resulting string. And so now if we run this, we get this. So these are the news articles now. Okay, looks really nice. So now we get cake news. Titled Cheesecake Factory Q3 earnings call, strong sales growth. So here's a summary. Cheesecake Summary reports solid revenue and growth margins with notable growth in North Italian and Flour Child despite facing macroeconomic pressures. Then here's the link to that article if we wanted to just go to it. Pretty cool. you know. So now we have this one's like stock big moves from yesterday. Applied Digital, Cheesecake Factory, Beyond Meat. Cheesecake Factory expansion reinforced bullish narrative despite valuation concerns. Cheesecake Factory's lifted its net profit margin to 4.3% from last year's 3.6, reflecting improved profitability. Earnings grew 25.5%, but came in below the 5-year U.S. market 10.2% pace, while future earnings are projected to increase 16.6% per year, outperforming the U.S. market on average the overall growth, right? Da, 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 da. So it's pretty cool. I like it so far. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do. What did I add here under the stock? I added something here. Here. Oh, okay. I just did a bug. Okay, so let's just go. News. Sure, return bug. Okay, cool. So pretty neat. Anywho, you guys, I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. I'm gonna call it for tonight. If you guys could leave a like on the stream, I really, really appreciate it. I try my best to be transparent and code live in front of you guys and show you guys what I'm doing. So if you guys enjoyed this and want to see me in the future, please subscribe and join along. I try to stream every single day. I know I didn't stream the past couple of days. I apologize. I was just away visiting my girlfriend, touching some grass. It was Halloween and we went out and got some, went out on the town and it was fun walking around and seeing everybody in costumes and stuff. So it's always good to, get out and take a break and just clear your mind and come back strong. So appreciate you guys joining me again tonight. We're going to keep going on C Programming: A Modern Approach, second edition in chapter 3 with the programming projects. And then we will continue on with our MIT OpenCourseware Introduction to Computational Thinking and Data Science 6.0002 course, where we will continue on with our problem set 4 and week 9 lecture. We also need to continue reading like Fluent Python and Introduction to Algorithms. So we're going to continue on those. I need to kind of come up with more of a schedule for how I want to do this. It's kind of a little bit more random at the moment, but let me know what you guys think if you guys want like a more formal schedule about how we go about it. But I appreciate you guys coming in. I'll see you guys later. Thanks Havoc, thanks Ray, thanks Tim, thanks Zero, Adida, Ashish. Thank you guys so much for being in here. Jimmy Boats, Sylvia, you guys are awesome. Mang. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. Have a great night.